What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's me. It's me. It's the Z Man, Zaddy Smith. Once again, back live this week, people. We are live this week
Hey, Z,
for
Z, Z. I,
yo, what's up?
I think it's way too dark in here.
Wait. Oh, come on. No, not you two. Not, don't tell me that you're just one of these people out here that's crying like, oh my god, it's way too dark. I can't see the episode. Why is it so dark? Let me adjust this my screen settings on my TV. Well, you know what? Fine. If I'm too dark, if it's too dark in here, I'll help y'all guys out. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. Try to ruin a great episode. Of,
What?
is this better, people? Is this better? Can you see the Z Man now? Can you see the Z Man now? Thank you. And you, I can see you well too, Mr. Hunter, Hitman Chandler.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for, I guess, warning me before more people came in and start like just asking, like, why is it so dark? Why is it so dark? But you know what, people? Because we heard that all day today. Let's just get into it. I am the Z-Man Zay Smith. That's the boy Hunter, the Hitman Chandler. And you are watching a special live edition, people, live of Beyond the Drone.
Live and colored, not dark at all.
Exactly. There's plenty of light, people, because we all know that the night is dark and full of terrors, and apparently people were crying last night. So, fine, here you go. And bright and technical. Do not adjust your screen settings. Yes, there's nothing wrong now.
It's live in color.
Yes, sir.
What is up, everybody?
Mm-hmm. How you doing, man? How you been doing today?
Oh man, I just watched all 4 battles, including the Battle of Winterfell, which happened Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what an episode! Now, fair warning, we are live. Spoiler alert, heavy spoiler alert. At the end, we will be doing a live Q&A. So put your questions in the comments below in the live chat, and we will answer them as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. All right, Z, give us your opening thoughts on this episode, episode 3, The Long Night.
Man, opening thoughts was, from the beginning of it, I just felt the dread automatically in this episode. I didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, yes, it was episode 3 of 6, so I knew some people were going to survive, but I told you last week in last week's episode, I had a list of people that I knew was going to die in this episode. Yeah. I'm surprised to see my boy Riley Ritchie is still alive and is still lived throughout this episode, but we'll talk about that later. But this episode was fantastic in all way, in like every way for me. Despite the darkness of it, I do believe 100% believe that was the intent of the episode. And first of all, if you watch this episode with your light on, you did yourself a disservice. So blame yourself. The room had to be dark. It had to be like you were in the movie theater. Exactly. And I just imagine, and I just can think about whenever we saw the Dothraki ride off into the night, and they got extinguished, and you saw all their flames go out. But that same terror that I was about to call them the Myrmidons, but the Unsullied had, like whenever they were on the front lines, and when the dead came to them, I felt that same way because I couldn't see them. Yeah. So I know the Unsullied couldn't see them. So I was perfectly fine with all the darkness in this episode. It was meant to be dark. And then whenever Melisandre was able to light up everything, like the trench on fire, that's when it was supposed to be light. So, like, I know we'll talk more about it throughout this episode, but I really, really enjoyed it, like, overall. And like you said, we're gonna be ranking all the 5 battles that have happened throughout Game of Thrones. So you'll definitely hear my list towards the end of this episode.
Oh, yep, and as well as mine. So my thoughts were, from beginning to end, this is what I wanted the final battle to be. I wanted the Battle of the White Walkers to be. The Battle of Winterfell is here, and you felt it. You felt the dread. You felt the fact that no matter what our heroes tried to do, nothing was working. They just kept coming. I love how it felt like a horror movie and a Game of Thrones episode put into one, because you had a lot of sneaking around moments, a lot of jump scares, a lot of like really good special effects with the White Walkers and how they were pretty much like zombies.
Yeah, they were.
I love this episode so much. This might be one of my favorite battles, which we'll get to at the end, but because it was it was like 84 minutes, 85 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I think they said it was an hour and 36 minutes, but I think that they must include like the previews and stuff in it because it was not that long. I think that was the inside look and the little preview, including the hour 35.
Yeah, so it's probably more about an hour 30.
Yeah, hour 30, hour 25, something like that.
Which again is probably one of the longest episodes we'll see this season. And I'm definitely okay with it because they gave us extra time and it worked out so well because you got to feel, as I said, the dread and then the coming together of all the characters as they were pretty much getting ready for the end of their lives. Like, you know, you got to see relationships build and end and finalize, and so many great death scenes. So many like heartbreaking death scenes. A lot of heroic moments, and we'll get into all of them right now. So Z, let's talk about some of your favorite moments. We can be from the very beginning, very middle, end, whatever.
Well, first of all, I mentioned it earlier, but to see Melisandre come back in this episode, I heard like theories that she was gonna bring like the Red Priestess and priests from Essos and stuff, and they were gonna come back with like a fire army. And personally, I didn't need all that. I was happy to see just the one Red Witch I know, or well, technically we know that other one, but the main Red Witch of the series come back and do the power of the Lord of Light, which I have kind of become a fan of. And yes, I still remember what he did to Shireen. I don't forgive that. But for him basically bringing his powers down and for allowing Melisandre to light the sides of the Dothraki, which was a pretty dope moment. And it was just amazing. You knew it was something mystical going on because all she did was like one person's sword on fire, and then the whole armies lit up. And that just that got me hype. That got the Dothraki Blood Riders hype. And when they went to battle, I'm like, yeah, go get them. Wait, what's happening?
Don't go into the darkness.
Oh no. Where's all the fire? I don't see the.
That's such a good scene because it's like it starts off very light, and then one by one the lights start going down. You screams. That's a horror movie moment right there. That's like something you're screaming at the screen to not go.
Exactly. It's one of those moments where you start feeling hopeful. At first, I was like, okay, guys, let the dead come to you. But then whenever when they got hype, I'm like, okay, y'all are good. Go fight the dead. And you had a little bit of hope in that moment. But whenever you saw their flames start dying out, your hope got extinguished. And personally, I was thinking that maybe the Dothraki were going to come back on their dead horses and stuff and try to kill everybody. But I don't think. Well, we did see one dead Dothraki later in the episode, but. Yeah. That was one of my favorite moments of this episode. Another one was, and I guess we got touching now. My little girl, Bella Ramsey. You are OG. You have been an OG since season 6. Yeah, bless the lives of Game of Thrones, and your portrayal of Lyanna Mormont has been masterful. And you went out like a G. Yes, you got swatted like a fly at the beginning, which was okay. You got back up. And yes, even though your tiny body was being crushed by a giant, you used your will in your fight. And you stabbed that giant eye and killed it.
And you killed the giant.
I know. It was a great story, pretty much like David and Goliath a little bit. Just David died in this instance also. But, gosh, I loved the moment, but it was a very sad moment at the same time to me. That was one.
They did not pull any punches on this episode.
Yeah, not at all. And I have a couple of others, but I'll let you go because I'm pretty sure that we'll probably have some of the same ones that overlap.
I'm going to start with one that's just a good character moment.
Mhm.
And that's in the crypt with Tyrion and Sansa.
Yep, I
And
had it on
they're
my list too.
slowly like holding each other's hands back behind the wall as the crypt comes alive, which we saw that coming. It's even more badass, like actually watching it, but just the subtle like holding of the hands, and you still see that they care about each other. Like Sansa was the only one to treat Tyrion with that respect and that compassion and love. And I do love the line before where Sansa goes, "You were the best of the three." Tyrion's like, I'm not sure how I should take that. Like, yeah, he was like, I don't want to be compared to those two.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
Their whole connection is so awesome.
yeah, that moment was one of those moments where I had never really saw. Well, I know when Tyrion and Sansa got married, I'm like, okay, this is somebody that will at least treat her right. But I know they're not long term. They're not going to be the couple at the end. But that moment right there, and well, again, from the moment that they had in the beginning of the episode where they were talking about you're the best of my husbands, but it would have never worked between us. To that moment right there, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I thought they were just looking at each other. He kissed her hand. It was so sweet. I'm like, oh no, please don't go out there and
I
die.
got so worried that one of them was gonna bite the dust.
Yeah, I'm like that scared me to death. But they both survived throughout the end of it. But the best thing about it is it actually made me think. You know what, Sansa and Tyrion
could work.
I can work. I can see it working. Exactly. And you notice that. And I've heard some people say that Tyrion is really in love with Sansa, and I'm not really too sure about that. But ever since he was married to Sansa, I don't think he's had sex since.
No.
And because that's when he gave up pretty much. He gave up having sex with Shay. Yeah. And whenever he became married, he never
No. Wasn't he? He was still seeing Shay when he was married to Sansa, right?
He was, but Sansa. I mean, Shay was always trying to get with Tyrion, but Tyrion never wanted to, and that's eventually made him, spurn her, and then her be pissy, and then come back and sleep with his daughter.
That bitch.
Yeah, that bitch. But yeah, I'm like, Tyrion's kind of. I mean, he's kind of held. I'm not gonna say he's held out for Sansa, but he's been faithful to his vows in a way. So it's very cool.
And what's cool is you kind of saw that. What was it, like season 2 or season 3, when Joffrey was just being a dick, making her strip, and then all of a sudden Tyrion comes in, he's like, cover her up. How dare you treat her like this? Like, you could see there that something was happening, and probably just because he was like a decent human being, but you could see that he sees this girl who made mistakes, maybe sees a part of him in her, where Sansa's kind of the outcast in season 1 and 2. She's always wanted to be in King's Landing, and now she gets to see what King's Landing is really about. And that's something that Tyrion has to deal with also, is being a part of this family that people don't like, that have some really fucked up members of his family, but he's the one that's trying to make the Lannister name better. And they're, with the people involved, it's hard to do that. And that's what I really love, is the connection between the two, and the two actors make it work so perfectly. Peter Dinklage and Sophie Turner do such a good job, have such great chemistry on screen, because if they didn't, you wouldn't buy it as much as I'm buying it.
I completely agree with you. And you know what? Shout out to my friend Jackie Weatherwest. If she's watching this, or if she ever watches this, you better watch it, because I'm showing you out. But she's been a fan of Sansa for so long. And I used to be like, and I think I've said this before on the show. I used to be such a Sansa hater. I'm like, I used to talk bad about her up until about season 5. Then I started to feel bad for her. Then I started to feel respect for her.
Everybody.
Yeah, but then I started to feel respect for her, and I mean, I feel a ton of respect for her even now. And again, I'm not sure how the rest of the season is going to play out, but I feel like she's going to have a big role to play with however episode 6 ends up.
I have a theory that we'll bring up a little bit later, but I want to see your thoughts on that. I think we might have the same one.
Okay, I maybe so. Or I have a good one, but then I also have a twisted one also. But we'll see.
But like another moment I love is more of the action set pieces. I love what was it? My God, so much happened. I love as they built the fire around Winterfell, and how smart the White Walkers are, building kind of a mountain on top of each other so that the rest of them can walk up and into the war zone. Like how smart and strategic that is, to sacrifice a few men to let your entire army pass through the flames without getting killed.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I believe it was probably most likely the Night King that was commanding it, but it just shows how much of a boss he is, and how much he knows. He had everybody. He had all these dead people waiting. It's like he was doing recon of the place. Okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? Okay, I can risk a couple of these pawns. They could die, and so we can walk over the trench and stuff. Like, it was brilliant. Like, it really was.
Yeah. So go ahead and give us another one of your favorite scenes.
Man, since I brought him up just a second ago, homeboy. Listen, let me set the scene real quick. If everybody's watching this, everybody watched this episode, they know what I'm about to say. The Night King got knocked off dead Viserion. He was just on the ground. Dany and Drogon are right in front of him. Dany's like taking her time. She's looking at him. The Night King is looking at her. She's looking back at him. He's looking back at her. And then she finally says, Dracarys. Drogon blows fire at him. Oh my God. Is he going to burn? Is he going to burn? Hell no, he didn't. My God. He walked out of that fire just like a boss. And mind you, not only did he walk out of this fire and just like brush his shoulders off, that motherfucker, and I'm sorry for cursing people, but seriously, he walked out that fire with the slightest of grins on his face. Like,
the smirkiest of smirks. Like, really?
He's like, it was similar to the whole moment in Hard Home where he's like, come at me, Snow. And this moment was like better than me. He's like, now what? It's like, he's like, now what? What? It was his ultimate gangster move. I'm like, God damn, man! Like
he had the most baller scene. He was just like, Flames, what are you gonna do now, huh?
Exactly. It's like, I mean, I feel like so many people count on that to work. Even I counted on it in last year's episode, in the Frozen Lake episode. Yeah. I thought, why didn't Dany or Drogon just go burn the Night King when they were over there? Game over. But as we know now, that should have done nothing to him. But that was such a gangster moment in this episode.
I have another Night King gangster moment I want to bring up in a minute.
Oh yeah, and that just might be one of my. That's definitely one of my favorite moments of the episode, of the season, of this series in general. Period.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mine is when he gets knocked off the dragon, and Jon's sitting there getting ready to kill him, and all of a sudden this motherfucker goes, "Nope, now your army is my army." And he just creates a wall around him. He's like, really? Now I'm going to go kill Bran. You take care of these guys for me.
Exactly. He's like, hey, Jon. It's almost like he's like, hey, I remember you. Jon, wait, Jon, put the sword down. Jon, put the sword. Okay, wait a minute. Arise. Everybody, yes. Okay, you have fun with them. I'm going to kill your brother now. Like, it was.
That was also the biggest troll move that Game of Thrones could throw at us, because like everyone wanted to see Jon versus Night King 1-on-1. They were like, okay, you're getting it. Psych.
Yeah, I mean, even I said it, I think maybe last week, I thought Jon was going to be the one that killed the Night King. Like, definitely, I was ready for it to happen.
Get to that.
But, like, yeah, it wasn't like how we expect it, and I believe that's what the show is good at. It like subverts your expectations, and I love it. I love it a lot.
Oh yeah. So go ahead with yours again.
Another one of my favorite moments happens with my girl, President the Goat. I want to see her for president for 2020, Miss Arya Stark, and it was the moment. It's actually kind of a two for two moment. It was when the Hound became a little bitch, and he
Oh,
was just hiding, and he was just hiding behind the walls, and Barry was trying to just was trying to get him out, but he was just all scared. And he was saying like, "No, we can't defeat these guys. Can't you see we're fighting death? There's no way we can beat them." And Barrett points out, "Well, tell that to her." And over in the corner, you see my girl Arya with her little weapon from Gendry. She is whooping White Walker ass. She's killing left to right. She like disconnects her spears and her spear, and it's two spears by themselves. And
it's like Nightwing's weapon.
What'd you say?
I said it's like Nightwing's weapon.
Exactly, like do a bow staff. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like do a bow staff with two dragon glass shards.
Yeah.
At the end of it, which was an awesome moment. Just Arya was the boss in this whole episode. In this part where she was fighting whites, and then another part in this episode, but just one other moment I want to touch on is kind of right at this moment because Arya does kind of get overwhelmed at the moment, and at a certain moment, and she goes hiding within Winterfell. And listen, I never knew Winterfell, the inside was this big, but it was amazing
scene too.
Yeah, how they played the scene off because Arya goes
again, such a horror movie style, so quiet.
Exactly. It was. I saw some people say it seemed like a quiet place. I've seen people compare it to Jurassic Park, which I think that's probably the most apt description of it. Like when Arya was in the library and she can't let herself be. She can't let the White Walkers know that she's in there, so she's hiding, like shifting between bookcases and stuff.
Under the table, dripping.
Yeah. Oh.
One thing I love is like the White Walker hears it, goes under, like slowly looks under. No one's there. She's mastered the quiet getaway.
Yes, yes. She's so sneaky, and it was just such a suspenseful moment because even in my house, I had to make sure I wasn't moving because I thought that me moving was going to cause them to hear her.
This is like again, the great horror movie scene is when it's like it's so quiet. All you hear is the foot of the White Walkers. You see Arya as she's making no noise as she slips through it, and then she encounters one, stabs in the neck, and then just slowly transitioning her way through. I held my breath, making sure I didn't breathe at all because I was like, "Can they hear me? Can they?"
And Hunter, let me say, whenever that one White Walker, wherever she stabbed that one White Walker towards Ant, all I heard at first was like the little ting. So I thought the Walker had stabbed her. I'm like, oh no!
So did I.
But then I saw that the blade was in the Walker's nest. I'm like, okay, thank God, thank Jesus. And yes, even though when she escaped the library, all hell broke loose, but still, that does not mean that moment in the library was just a chilling moment at all whatsoever.
Oh, that's such a good scene. So I'll bring up the scene right after that.
Yep.
And it's when the Hound and what's his name? I forgot.
Barry Dondarrion?
Yeah, Baron. They're coming through trying to find her, and Baron makes the ultimate sacrifice, holding himself,
like on the walls.
Oh yeah, on the walls. And someone brought this up. He was stabbed the exact amount of times he was brought back to life.
Oh, really? That's a very good point. Yeah.
And then Melisandre said a line right after that was the light brought him back to fulfill a purpose. This was the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. The Lord Light brought him back to fulfill a purpose, and he's fulfilled it. So yeah, that's something I kind of want to talk about later also about purpose, but go continue.
I love this whole entire scene as a whole because it started out as a silent horror movie and then immediately turned into like a World War Z zombie movie where
that's true.
Like Resident Evil style. you're in the close corridors, and then you hear something then runs past you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look around and you have like 30 behind you just like rushing towards you. So perfectly done.
Agree, agree. And I like how you mentioned World War Z because I mean I, I like the movie, but the whole fact of the White Walkers climbing up each other to get over the wall and stuff, walls of Winterfell. I saw it like I saw it in World War Z first, and yes, I'm not blaming saying Winterfell Game of Thrones copied it, but still, they were still both two good moments. And this one was probably definitely more intense because it was at nighttime and it was so dark and I couldn't see anything. But no, it was just a great horrifying moment, all in all. And
Oh yeah.
even when the dead got inside Winterfell, I don't know how people survived, to tell you the truth, because I thought almost all the Unsullied had got killed. And technically, everybody that we saw in the middle of the courtyard, I thought they were going to die. And we'll talk about Sam later, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
I thought a bunch of people were going to die, like Brienne, Jamie, Pot. They were just swinging and fighting off the horse as best as they could. Tormund, but it looked Grey Worm. It looked hopeless, but yeah.
Yeah, I love, and again, I love the sense of dread in this episode because not only do the characters feel it, but you feel it.
Very much so.
You feel like, okay, I'm with Arya, but that's me. Like I have to be quiet as I'm going through the castle of Winterfell. I have to be quiet.
Mhm.
Or you're on the battlefield. You're in that episode. And I think the dark tone helped you get into that mindset.
I do too. I think it helped you, it immersed you into it. I agree.
Yeah, because if you watched it with the lights on or turned your brightness all the way up, it ruins it because the whole point of having it so dark is because our characters don't know when they're coming. So why should the audience know when they're coming?
I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
It's like in a horror movie. Most horror movies are set in the dark because how do I put this? Because you can imagine the worst possible scenario in your head worse than what they can show you.
I agree with that. I feel like in horror movie scenarios, your worst enemy is your own imagination.
Exactly.
Like basically that's why there's such thing as jump scares. Like whenever you peek around the corner in the dark and it's just like a little rat and yet you're scared to death. That's why, because you were expecting something evil to happen. Now when you turn around and you get killed, hey, that's your problem. But yeah, that was a great episode, great tone for the whole episode, great setting for it. Quick question for you, and we haven't talked about like some of the some of the other major characters, so we haven't talked about her yet either. How did you feel about Dany in this episode? Because I know how I felt about her toward. I kind of like again, you know how I feel about her in general, about like from last week and where I think she's going, but I think she pulled a very John vis-a-vis Battle of the Bastards move. She led. She yes, they needed the fire from Drogon, but she kind of when she saw the Dothraki die, it's like she let her emotions get the best for her, and like any plan that they had, yeah, hell, just throw that out the window. And she just got on Drogon and just flew away. So I'm like, I wasn't sure that was the plan at all, but I'm like, Dany, not the wisest move. And then we'll talk about what she did later to my boy. But go ahead.
I really love Dany in this episode. I really did. Because the first two episodes, she set up as someone who was kind of going Mad Queen.
That's true.
And at the end of the second episode, especially that scene with Jon in the cave on the dragons in the snow, you see something kind of change. You see, and as she said, she hasn't felt this way in a very long time since Khal Drogo. And, you know, in this episode, she showed that she's willing to go and fight on the front lines if she has to. She's not going to be someone like Joffrey in season 3?
Yeah, season 2.
Season
2. Yeah,
where he doesn't fight at all and then just leaves and goes to the caves or whatever.
Mm.
No, like Dany shows, even without her dragon, she's still going to fight like a Dothraki, because that he was technically grew up with. I mean, she was young when she was married to Khal Drogo.
That's true.
She hasn't left that mindset of being a Khaleesi. And then once she gets the dragon glass sword or the dagger,
yeah,
her and Jonah fighting together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, fighting together. That shows that not only is she willing to fight for and with her army, but she's willing to step up and fight for a friend in need, no matter if she has dragons or not.
That's very good. That's a very good point, because I forgot about the moment. Because I think that was really one of the only times that we've seen Dany fight, like pick up a sword and fight like that. Because even in, I think it was the Fighting Pits episode, or in season 5, episode 9, like whenever she was about to get killed by the Sons of the Harpy and stuff, I think we saw he kind of relied on Jorah and other people to protect her and stuff like that. But she was right. Yes, Jorah did come and save her at the beginning when she was about to get sworn, but she did fight like she fought like a G. Yes, he did a lot too, but you're right, she did survive. So I'm being a little hard on her just for the fact she kind of pulled a Jon, like how when Ramsay killed little dumbass Rickon for not zigging and zagging. Yeah, Jon got he led with his emotions and he went straight towards the army when he should have just stayed in place.
Yeah.
So I can't completely blame her. So
yeah, and again, I can't blame Jon and I can't blame Dany for the same. That actually shows that they're pretty much they have the
same blood.
Yeah, but also the same mindset when it comes to you fuck with my family or my friends or people I care about. Logic goes out the window. It's time to fight. And that's when Dany knew, like when Jon was surrounded and she had the dragons come in and burn them, and then she sees the Night King and the Night King throws the spear at her, barely misses her by an inch. You see, Jorah's in trouble. I have to go save him. He's been with me since the very beginning. He's someone I trust. He's pretty much like family to me. Sucks for him because he's not getting any. But
he's just doing it for the love.
Forever now. And she goes and without her dragon, without using the dragon fire and the power of the dragon, she gets down side by side with him and they fight to his last breath.
Mm-hmm.
That
mm-hmm.
Wait for him to go out.
Yeah, it was very sad since you brought him up, but Jorah did the damn thing this episode because he was another person that was getting. He kept getting stabbed just like Barrett did. Like he kept getting stabbed left and right by White Walkers, but he kept fighting them off, and he was doing whatever he could to keep Dany safe and stuff. Like no matter what he needed to do, he made sure to protect her. And even whenever he got stabbed, I think pretty much in the gut, Dany finished the white off, and he just got back up slowly and prepared to fight. And yes, I don't.
You thought of Boromir from the first Lord of the Rings?
That's a good point. I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings too much to really know, but that's a good point.
Hit by the arrows.
Oh, Boromir was Sean Bean, right?
Yeah, which is funny.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense. So,
yep.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of Lord of the Rings kind of. I don't want to say similarities, not at all. I mean, a lot of people said. I think they said this battle was going to be bigger than the Battle of Helm's Deep, which I do admit was probably one of my favorite battles in movies. Also, but there's something I'll call on later about something that happened in Return of the King. Also, so But
Yeah.
I'll leave that for a little bit later.
Yeah. So let's go to another moment I love, and that's when we have to talk about it. I mean, we might as well bring it up now, right?
Hey, that's cool with me.
Arya.
Arya is a G. Yes.
Arya is the ultimate badass.
Mm-hmm.
It started at the very beginning when Melisandre looks up, sees Arya on the wall, looks at her, and then walks off. And I didn't know what that meant. I actually got afraid because I was like, oh no, does that mean Arya's going to die this episode?
Because, I thought that too, yeah.
But
I did thought that, or thought she was going to kill Melisandre. I'm like, please, Arya, now is not the time, please. Don't do that to Melisandre. Let bygones be bygones.
And then we go right into the right after that horror movie scene at the castle. They get in that room, and what she say? She's like, "Brown eyes must kill blue eyes."
Well, yeah, she brought up the prophecy that she had spoke to Arya. I think it was season 3, I believe, right before they took Gendry, and she mentioned how she told Arya back then that she was going to close many eyes forever, brown eyes, green eyes, and then in this case, and blue eyes. And yet at that moment, nobody really knew what she meant. However, I guess basically Melisandre prophesized.
It was a spoiler.
Yeah, it was a spoiler alert back in season 3. And my God, when she said, I think magic words, when she said, what do we say to the guy to death? My happy-go-lucky ass, I'm like, not today! Not today! Yes! I'm like, part of me was hoping that Syrio Forel was going to take off her face and be Syrio Forel. Like, oh! But no, but that was such a great moment to me. Like, not today! Yes!
I'm actually, before we go into Arya, we have to talk about Bran and the Greyjoys.
Oh, well, that's true, because because it really does play a lot into Arya's main mission as well. Because actually, after this moment, she kind of runs off into the dark, and we don't see her for another probably 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes, yeah.
But that's when we go to homeboy
Bran.
Bran, who's just sitting underneath the tree, just gazing up at the stars.
Like a G.
So it's such a beautiful night. Bran, I have no idea what his purpose is going to be for the next couple episodes, like at all.
Bran gets up, kills Cersei, takes the throne.
wouldn't that be something that Bran has been faking the whole time? Actually, I'd be super pissed though, because that would mean Bran got Hodor killed for nothing. And that would piss me off.
Fuck you, Bran.
Yeah.
Bran's the ultimate villain. This was my plan all along.
Bran being the ultimate villain? Maybe. I don't.
But Bran is sitting up under the trees, which someone brought up a good point, and this is kind of my nitpick. Why didn't Bran just like control some of the animals to help fight in the battle?
I completely agree with you on that, and I'm not sure if he could have controlled one of the animals. He could have controlled Ghost, and Ghost better be alive, damn it.
Because we see Ghost in the previews for the next episode.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. I need to make sure Ghost. I know they didn't kill him off screen either, so I was hoping that. I guess they just had to. What happened?
Same with one of the dragons.
Rhaegal. Yeah, I did see Rhaegal in the preview for next episode, but I just knew Ghost had to be alive because, and maybe the producers just had to use the rest of the CGI budget for the White Walkers and for the dragons. So I'm okay with that as long as he's alive. But it didn't make sense to me how he did with Summer, I think, and Shaggy Dog, like in season. God, is it season 4? No, yeah, season 4 when they were going towards the wall. Why didn't he work into maybe another into animals that was nearby, maybe into ghosts, or can he not warg into the whites?
I don't think you can, because I don't think they're counted as animals. I don't think they're counted as creatures.
So I guess he could just see through them, because I know he saw through the giant back, I
Yeah.
think, at the beginning of season 7. But I
Yeah,
guess he can't control him. He can just see through him.
yeah.
Okay.
But maybe it's kind of the Doctor Strange Infinity War thing where he's like, you know, I've seen what happens. I can't get involved.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Maybe so.
maybe the one outcome where humans survive, if he starts fighting with him, maybe that could change. Maybe something like that. I can see that. Since Brand knows all, maybe he can't get involved because it would cause like a butterfly effect.
That's a very good that's a very good possibility because we have no idea what really is the extent of Brand's powers. Like,
Yeah.
we know that he can see all, or or at least he has the history of the universe or the history of Westeros. So we
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe he can do more.
Yeah. So back to the Greyjoys. It's
Mhm.
Greyjoys, Bran in the middle, and the White Walkers come surrounding, and they take everybody out of the Greyjoy army except for Theon. And
Mhm.
Theon fights with his bow and arrow, takes all of them out, and they're all laying. The Night King rolls forward with his army, and this line made me tear up a bit.
I agree.
And it
Mhm.
was when Bran looks at him, he goes, Theon, you are a good man. Thank you. And you see the face of someone who's been redeemed.
Mhm.
Finally, after what, 6 years, he's finally been redeemed.
Yeah, it technically has been 6 years because we skipped a year in between 7 and 8. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
been ever since season 3 when he just kind of turned his back on the Starks and stuff. It it was really it was really heartfelt, and we said, I think we said last episode of how Theon being coming back into Winterfell, wanting to fight for Sansa and wanting to fight for Winterfell, and how he told his sister back in episode 1 how he was going back to Winterfell, and we knew it then, like Theon, and I'm pretty sure Yara knew. This is gonna be the last time y'all two see each other. And
which
that was a very
sounds
that was a
sad because the last thing they say to each other is their house quote, "What's dead may never die."
what is dead may never die. And yeah, that was a very it was. You're completely right. Out of everything that Theon had did from back in the earlier seasons, where I even hated Theon, to when he became Reek, he helped Sansa out, and it was nice to see this be a final symbol of redemption for pretty much the person he kind of hurt the most, also.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
very sweet moment.
that scene again almost had me like welling up because you see the overarching story of someone who went from betraying their family to being accepted by that same family.
Mm-hmm.
And then Theon grabs, what is it? He grabs is a knife or a spear or
I think it was a spear. I think it was a spear. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
and it's in slow mo. It's such a good scene because you just hear him yelling. He's running, going right after the Night King, and the Night King just stops him, stabs him, and kills him
Mm-hmm.
just right off the bat. Like, but I couldn't think of a better way for him to go out.
I
Like,
agree. I agree.
he didn't go
I
out
100% agree. Mhm. There was no better way for him to go out than to die protecting his family. And again, like you said in season 3, another callback of whenever he and Ramsay were in that sewer before he ever knew who Ramsay was. He said he betrayed his real father, and his real father died in King's Landing. Got his head chopped off in King's Landing, something like that. And I'm pretty sure Headless Ned is smiling down on Theon for that was me. That was me to me. Sorry. I'm sure Ned is smiling down on Theon for protecting his son, and
see,
that
go ahead.
and that's pretty much all. That's what Theon needed to do. Just like Bran told him earlier in the episode. You listen, when Theon tried to apologize, he's like, "Listen, what you did. If you had not done what you had did, we would not be in this moment where we are now." So he's like basically saying,
I think
squash
he
it.
said the things you did back then made you a better person now.
That's right. Exactly. You're right. Excuse me. You're exactly right. So
Which
it was just,
another
it was nice to
great
see done. It really was. It was nice to see get the redemption from the family that he had hurt. And
Mm.
again, I believe feel part of the family. I think the best honor, and I'm not sure, maybe something that Yara may have like a little gripe with this, but I would be personally satisfied if they buried Theon down in the crypts below,
Oh
like next episode. I mean, they might want to give his stuff to his sister though, also. So it's kind of a toss up, but I would not. I would think that would be a very great moment,
I would
like to
actually
pay off
love
Theon's character.
if they tried to give his body back.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, he's a Stark.
I
Bury him
agree.
with honor where he belongs.
I agree with that. That would be very nice. Like that would be a sweet, sweet moment.
Yeah. See, this gets me wondering if maybe Theon knew that Arya was coming, and maybe he was kind of causing a distraction in a way to buy Bran a little bit more time for when Arya gets there.
Mm-hmm. It's very possible because we have no idea what they were talking about during the break and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
when we see the generals and the Night King come, maybe Theon knew that maybe that's why Bran said thank you, because Theon knew what he had to do in order to let Arya come and sneak out from the shadows and stuff. AKA be Batman. I am the Night.
Let's get to this because I think this is my favorite scene of the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because Arya comes in out of nowhere, just like jumping on top of the Night King. The Night King grabs her by the throat, and we think, oh no, don't you dare, don't you dare! And she has a knife in one hand, and she totally raised him from The Last Jedi. She drops it down, stabs his motherfucking ass in the gut with the dragon.
The
sword.
Yeah, it was the cat paw dagger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she totally raised him. That was a total Ray move, just boom.
Mm-hmm. And it was such an epic moment, man, because we had kind of saw her learn that move from, I think it was last season whenever she was training with Brienne and stuff. Even though I think she did it in reverse, and she brought the dagger up to Brienne's neck, but basically she dropped the dagger down below
and then brought it up to the neck. Yeah,
exactly. But this time she knew what she needed to do. Had it in his hand, catch it with the other hand, and just stab him. And he didn't see it coming, which kind of surprised me that he didn't see it coming. But that was an ultimate epic move. Like, yes, Arya, yes.
I went crazy.
So did I. I mean, I'm pretty sure you ask anybody, ask my mom, anybody, you heard me scream like, yes, yes, woo! I was so happy to see Arya. Arya's been one of my favorite characters since the beginning of the show, and she's a survivor. And now I do kind of worry about her a little bit, but this was an epic moment for her. Like, she took out the Night King and basically killed all the whites, all the blue eyes that Melisandre saw. Yeah, this is kind of the thing that kind of makes me wonder about another tie-in to Lord of the Rings. And I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, but remember Return of the King, where is it Theoden's niece kills the Nazgul guy, the Witch King, I think he is.
Yeah.
It was basically a woman that killed the Witch King in that story. I feel like Arya, again being a badass woman, is the one that killed the Night King in this episode, which is, again, they were two bit bads in both series. However, as we can pretty much expect now, they're not the ultimate bit bad at all. So, which I mean, I'm completely fine with too.
Oh yeah, me too. I love this scene because it starts off with Theon with Ultimate Sacrifice, and then ends with such a great death scene from Arya because, again, nobody saw it coming. I think I'm the only one who said on Beyond the Throne, actually, that I could see Arya killing the Night King. So I called it on this episode.
I think you did. Yes, you did. Last week, I think. Woo! Very good point.
I called it, baby. And it's so awesome to see Arya's growth from a little kid in Winterfell
Mhm.
to working with the faceless gods to now coming back to the place she grew up and pretty much being the savior of Winterfell.
Hell yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. She. Everybody should be grateful for Arya right now.
Oh yeah.
'Cause if she had not killed the Night King, everybody would be dead. Everybody.
Oh yeah. I just hope fans don't call her a Mary Sue like they did Ray.
I don't completely know what that means, but I just think anybody that's claim. I think it's something to do with a female be a heroic character or something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something from God.
Being overpowering.
Oh my God, guys, get. Okay, I'm gonna keep this as PG as possible. Get the sticks out of your ass, guys. Like, we've had so many overpowered men. Think about Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original Predator movie. Shut the F up forever. Please. Yeah. Don't talk about any strong women being overpowered. First of all, Ray being a Mary Sue, she's a fucking see again. She's we getting a razor going down. She's a Jedi. She's a Padawan, a Jedi Padawan. She knows the Force. It's magic, guys. Get over it. Don't talk about anybody being Mary Sue. And if I want them to say something about Arya, like kiss my
Arya earned everything that she deserved. This. If it wasn't gonna be Jaime, it had to be Arya.
Oh yeah, because we did mention last week how it would have been tight to see if Jaime was the ultimate Kingslayer and killed the Night King also.
Theory coming up in a minute.
That still would have been really dope also, but I could not be happier that Arya was.
I'm actually glad that we did see a lot of Jaime this episode because we had an episode dedicated to him last episode.
That's true. Jaime and Brienne, and while I did think they were going to die a little bit, but again, I kind of made me wonder, like, maybe when the Night King came through the courtyard, he kind of called all of his White Walkers off a little bit, because I don't understand how the Whites weren't stabbing them and killing them when they were pinned against the wall, but it was her, Brienne, Jaime, and Pod like just fighting them off, but they were backed into a corner, so maybe they weren't going as fast as maybe they weren't going as ferocious as they could be. And Sam, I thought, almost got overran. And we can talk about this a little bit.
I was so worried that Sam was gonna die like multiple times in this episode. But again, like that's one of the nitpicky things I don't like is because they started off making Sam in episode 1 like this really cool character. In this episode, he was kind of weak.
I agree with you 100%.
Couldn't fight back, even though he's the one who killed the first White Walker outside of the wall. Mm-hmm. Like he was kind of running off. He was not fighting when he had to fight. He was getting overran by people. He had to be saved multiple times.
Mm-hmm. And it was because of Sam that Dolorous Ed died. So let's just get that straight, people. Sam killed Ed, period.
Yeah. That's one of the negatives I'll put on this is I wish they had kept the badass Sam from episode 1 who stood up to Jon Snow, who, was actually talking and being upfront to Dany.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know why they kind of backtracked his character and made him kind of like season 2.
Yeah, no, you're right. Season 1. Well, yeah, season 2 or season 1 with Sam. Basically, when he was kind of a sniveling idiot, and I hate to say that about him, but he was pretty much he should not have been out there on the front lines at all. He should have been in the crypts, where he probably actually could have done some good, because everybody thought that the crypts would say, "Ha, Joe's on you. You gonna put a bunch of people."
Another like nitpick. How the hell did they think a crypt with dead bodies was a good idea? Like.
And you know what? I got another little slight nitpick. Tyrion, you're not doing your damn job, Tyrion. You should know this. You are the hand of the queen. You should know that a person who can raise the dead, you should not be hidden down where a bunch of dead people are. Come on, Tyrion. Think about this. Do better. Do better.
I'm the only one expecting like headless Ned to come out. because he is under the crypt. Like
That's true. But I wonder if did they bury Ned's body, or
yeah,
or is it like, was his body in pieces also? But
I think they probably just buried his body
okay,
together in the crypt. You would think that's.
I would hope so. I would think that's what they would do, but I'm not sure what Joffrey did to his body to begin with.
That's true.
I mean, we know how Lord Frey did with Rob's body. He paraded his body with with Grey Wolf's head on top. So I'm surprised the wolf head Rob, which would have been dope, didn't come out. And no, that would have been a little bit too much. Yeah, like I did wonder who survived the crypt and stuff attack, but I wonder how so many people survived. To tell you the truth, but maybe there weren't that many bodies down there that came back to life.
Yeah.
So I mean, some people did live, which was a good thing. But I want to know: did my little girl from episode 2 live?
Oh yeah.
Sheila, yeah, with Davos' little girl. Well, the girl that he met with the little burn mark. I really hope she survived. I really do. I'd be very sad if next week's episode we see that she died in the crypt, and I'll be pissed at the people.
Though they've already killed off Lady Mormont, which does that mean that the Mormont bloodline is like gone now?
I think so, man, because that's a good point, because
and her.
Yeah, Jorah, and her are dead. There's no more Jorah Mormont, so I think House Mormont may be extinguished too, which is a very sad thing to say, because they've done a lot. They've been a great house pretty much.
Oh yeah, but I will say this: they both had incredible death scenes. They both went out on their swords.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That to me, House Mormont is a warrior house. Like, even from Jeor Mormont, I mean, it took immunity to kill him. He got stabbed in the back, so he got stabbed in the gut too. But yeah, House Mormont was strong.
I have one more nitpick flaw. Is, and a lot of people brought this up, and I kind of agree. At the very beginning, why would they send the entire Dothraki fleet just right out there? Like, why?
Man, I wish I could answer, but I can't, because it doesn't make sense to me either. And part of me hopes that maybe
all of them as like expendable.
Yeah, pretty much. And I hope that maybe this wasn't all of Dany's army, because if this was all of her Dothraki and all of her Unsullied army, Dany is screwed. Which kind of brings me into a prediction, but I'll talk about that later also. But yeah, that's a very valid nitpick.
Predictions now, if you want to.
What'd you say?
I said we can go into predictions now if you want to. We've pretty much covered this entire episode, like front and back.
That's true, and we pretty much paid respects to everybody that has died in this episode. And Lyanna, what happened?
I think, haven't we? Hold on.
Yeah, we brought up Beric, Ed, Lyanna, the Ironborn, and Theon, and the Dothraki army, and the Unsullied. I don't think anybody else important has died this episode. I think that was it.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
Yeah, and Rhaegal is alive, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I had him in all caps on my computer last night. Like, what the fuck happened to Rhaegal? But I saw him in the previews. Like,
yeah, same with Ghost.
Yeah, exactly. So if Ghost is alive, I'm happy. If Ghost dies, I'm gonna riot. I'm telling you this now, HBO. If you watch this episode, I'm coming to your headquarters with picket signs telling you this now.
I have the exact same slogan for two people. Cannot kill Arya, and you cannot kill Tyrion.
I can agree with that. And you know what? I'll even say, don't kill Sansa to me.
Yeah, don't kill Sansa. Because that's my theory too.
Okay, go ahead. You will go into theory time, people. Put on your tinfoil hats now, everybody. Boom.
My first theory, since we just talked about her, I see Sansa being the one to kill Cersei.
I could did that.
Makes sense.
Because she still has that dagger too. So sticking with the pointy end. So
stick with the pointy end. I love that line too. The great callback to season 1 when Jon gives Arya a needle.
Exactly.
And he tells her the same thing. Sticking with the pointy end.
I agree with you on that. And that would be a very nice full circle way because at first I wanted Arya to kill her, but Arya can't have both kills.
Yeah, 2 major deaths.
So if it's not one of her brothers that kills Cersei, I want it to be Sansa as well because there's almost nobody else's life that she's made horrible more than Sansa's. Well, Tyrion, yes, but also Sansa. However,
I think she's actually treated Sansa worse.
Yeah, that's probably actually true.
Because Sansa came into King's Landing not knowing what to expect.
That's true.
Even when she found out how much of a dick Joffrey was, the mom didn't do Cersei did nothing to stop it. She let the torture continue for her own pleasure, pretty much.
Yeah, well, yeah. When Tyrion was there, he definitely tried to stop it, but Cersei wasn't as 100% horrible to her as until she believed that Sansa was the one that killed Joffrey or something. Then she grew hellfire out of her hair and stuff like that, and she became an enemy of Sansa's and stuff. But that's kind of, go ahead.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, but that kind of leads into my theory. I also think that Sansa would be a great person to kill Cersei. However, and this is something again, tinfoil hats on. I think Daenerys' army is so decimated, and this is something completely out left field. But part of me, just while I was at work today, I was thinking, what if Sansa figure out a way to make a deal with Cersei to take care of the Dragon Queen, as long as Sansa takes care of everything northwise, and Cersei worries about nothing but the south. Because we know Sansa's main deal is, yo, what about the north? The north is my domain, is our domain. That's all the people I really care about. I don't really care about the southerners. I just want the north to be well. And yes, I personally don't think Sansa and Cersei could be in the same room with each other. However, the enemy of my enemy could be my friend, and I don't know how friendly Sansa and Daenerys are either. So,
I could see it if not for the fact that in this season already, she brought up Tyrion. How can you trust Cersei?
Good point.
I don't think Sansa would be that dumb to trust Cersei again.
That's very true.
That she would hold up the end of the bargain and keep the North to her.
That's true. But however, she could use Cersei to extinguish Daenerys and then kill Cersei also, which would be cutthroat. But again,
yes, but also,
it's a very thin line. I admit it's a very thin line. But I just want people to know that if this does happen, if this theory does happen, you heard it here first, people. Here on Beyond the Throne. If Sansa and Cersei work together, and then Sansa becomes queen by killing Cersei, the Z-Man A. Smith said it first, right here.
And see, I can also see, of course, I can see Jaime killing the Mad Queen in Cersei, and he took out both the Mad King and the Mad Queen.
And you know what? That's a very good point. But then I also, again, kind of pointing back into my Daenerys argument from last week. There's something that I saw in the previews for next week, which kind of, again, I like Daenerys this episode. And yes, she did some things that were emotional, but you're right. When you see people that you love like going out, logic does kind of go out the window. However, there was the moment where in next week's preview where I think she's at the table and she's talking about, we won this last war. Now we will win the Great War. Yeah. Excuse me. Pause real quick. You didn't win the war. Arya won that war. So, calm down a little bit with the celebration.
She said we won the war. She didn't say I won the war.
That's true. But it just, again, makes me kind of think about the hubris of Dany a little bit. And now that the Night King gets dispatched, are we going to go back to that awkward conversation that Jon and Dany had right before the dead army came back? I don't know. They kind of left off at a very iggy place. But again, you're the first male heir. You're the last male heir of House Targaryen.
I feel like she loves him way too much to let that affect her. Because again, in this episode alone, she's had multiple times kill off Jon Snow.
That's true. She did. I mean, even
so many opportunities.
that's very true. She could easily kill John.
At one point in this episode.
That's true. It almost risked her dragon's life, but
Mhm.
that's a very good point. That could be the saving grace to like pretty much quell all the Mad Queen theories. So if that's the case, because you're right, Drogon almost did die to save John's life.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point. So hopefully Dany does not become evil, because again, I like Emilia Clarke a lot. She's a great actress, and I think she's been a great addition to the series ever since she's been on it. So I definitely hope she doesn't go Mad Queen. But just a thought.
I don't see that happening because it's the easiest choice.
It could be, yeah.
Because Game of Thrones, especially with them not following books anymore, they kind of like to do the complete opposite of what the popular theory is. And the popular theory now is Daenerys is going to become the Mad Queen.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodline. But the way I see it happening is, now maybe this is just me wanting a happy ending. Maybe it is. Mm-hmm. But I always go back to her talking about breaking the will.
Yeah.
And the Targaryen bloodline has always been poison. It's always been mad with power. What if she's like, no, I'm breaking the will in a different way. I'm marrying Jon Snow, the person I love, family or not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Game of Thrones world, it's not as bad as it is in the real world. Let's point that out right now. It's not. So I see her marrying Jon and them both having the throne. Because that ends the Mad Queen theory, because they both have to make decisions together. And it's out of love and cherish for all of the Seven Kingdoms. The kingdoms that she helped, the kingdom that Jon helps, the North, the South, they're all coming together. And this is the ultimate, proof of breaking the will, breaking tradition, and not going Mad Queen.
I agree with you on that. That would be a very great ending from I think for the series in total. However, again, I would love that ending. However, this will be my last theory, because it's kind of goes off of something that a friend of mine did post on one of my walls this week, that they could see Jon and Dany having a baby, but yet both of them dying, and then Tyrion and Sansa raising the baby as their own, which again would be very cool for me, I think. But part of me wonders, and that's not really my theory. I can't remember who said that, but one of my friends did say it. But my theory is, I kind of don't think Jon's gonna make it anymore, and the reason why I say that is kind of plays into Melisandre's whole talk of purpose in this episode. Beric had a purpose to die and revive so many times to basically save Arya towards the end, because Arya's purpose was to kill the Night King and to quiet all those blue eyes, just as Melisandre's purpose was to bring back Jon Snow, I think, and I think Jon Snow's purpose was to bring the North together and bring the Dragon Queen together to fight off the Long Night. So I think that was his purpose of it, and now I think he's kind of fulfilled with this purpose. So I kind of think the plot armor that Jon Snow has had throughout the series is pretty much off of him now, because yes, there were many moments he could have died last night, but I think that plot armor is gone for him right now. So I mean, he could survive, but I could easily see him being killed out too.
I could too, but I wouldn't want to see that, because that could lead Dany to become Mad Queen. That could be the last straw that breaks her.
That's true. Unless that's very possible. Unless it's done like probably in a sweet moment or something like that. Like it's a respectful moment. Not saying that Dany doesn't win at the end, but just it could very well be. But I do kind of worry that Kit Harington's fate could be sealed. But then again, we got 3 more episodes of the show, and I think if this episode was anything to go off of, we really don't know what to expect in these last 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, and again, I don't want to see that, because I like Jon and I like Dany's relationship. Excuse me, but I just I don't want them to do the same formulaic, oh, she's following in her father's footsteps storyline.
Yeah, I will hope that she would go Mad Queen again. I really don't. I really hope she does it.
Because I want her to, again, to break the wheel, to break tradition, to break what people think was going to happen, which is, oh, you thought I was going to go mad with power, but either she takes over and doesn't go mad, and she brings the North along and gives the North to Sansa, which I could see that happening too. I could see, just Dany taking over, and instead of going mad with power, she thinks about what Sansa said and gives Sansa the North to rule as kind of a peace offering between the two of them.
That would be probably the best way to do it, because I think so, at this that you almost have to feel the respect for each other, and Sansa should be the wardeness of the North, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, period. And it would be nice to see Sansa and Dany become girlfriends or cousin-in-laws. Actually, that's kind of weird, because you know what I mean. For them to be best friends and stuff, it'll be very maybe not best friends, but just for them to be cordial with each other.
Yeah,
that would be a happy ending to me. Again, but I hear Ramsay in the back of my head, though. He's telling me that if you're expecting a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. But that's just me. I'm very scared. I'm being pessimistic just in case something bad happens.
that's totally understandable. This is Game of Thrones, after all.
Exactly. I don't want to get my hopes up, because if the higher my hopes, the further I have to fall.
Another thing I could see is her giving the North to Sansa and Jon, and Sansa and Jon take over the North together.
That's a very good point. Even though I think Jon would probably be kind of like for you, I think Jon would be in King's Landing with her, like as the king and stuff. So I think it would be king and queen, and Sansa would have.
I want a happy ending, but again, this is Game of Thrones, and if you're expecting a happy ending, you've not been paying attention.
Yeah, but that again, I think Sophie Turner's
did get a great ending to this episode. So
that's very true. Yeah. So again, a lot of people have seen people complain that Game of Thrones has gotten a little bit too predictable. I don't agree with that, because again, this episode you had no idea who was gonna die. I tell you, people
saw Arya killing the Night King. I don't care.
Exactly, nobody did. But and again, I think I told people in last week's episode, I would have bet money, and I would have lost my money, by the way, that Grey Worm was gonna die in this episode.
Yeah.
I was so certain. I would have bet my life on it almost. I was so certain, because he made plans to go on vacation before you go into battle. You never do that.
Never.
Grey Worm survived.
Survived.
Yeah, him
and Missandei.
Missandei. Yeah. Just like, I was so surprised. Like, oh, Gendry did that. Gendry survived too, right?
And what's funny is, I want to bring this up because I'm a horror movie fan, and I love the Scream connection of Arya having sex last episode, and she being the one to kill the ultimate killer bad guy at the end of it.
Very good point. Very good point. Because just like Sydney had sex with Billy, and she ended up killing Billy and Stu. Yes, again, Scream spoilers, people. If you had not seen Scream, blame yourselves. That movie has been out for 20 years.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a very good point. Very good. That's a very great deep cut connection for us. Like, if we ever see a trivia question like, who does Arya resemble in the Scream series? Boom. Sidney Prescott.
Yep.
Very dope.
Yep. All right, so we're done with predictions. We're done talking about the episode. Let's get into The Crown.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A very easy crown. We both agree. And it is, of course, Maisie Williams, Arya Stark herself. Our queen, we give you the crown.
Yes, ma'am. Arya Stark, Maisie Williams, we bow down to you in this episode, ma'am. You killed it. Pun definitely intended. Again, you've been my girl for ever since you were a kid. It's been great to see you rise up you've never been a meek child, but from being a little child to being the badass boy you are. Maisie / Arya Stark, thank you for being who you are. Maisie Williams for 2020. I'll say it. Actually, she can't be president yet. But listen, Arya Stark for 2020. Hey, we got Donald Trump as president. Anything can happen. So listen, just great. Arya, you deserve it. Maisie, you deserve it. Hell of an episode this season and this episode, and yo, you definitely deserve it.
Yeah, she definitely stole every scene she was in, whether it's action scenes, whether it's
the horror scene.
I love the scene of her just killing the White Walkers back and forth using the spear on the wall, just like tearing through them. And then she looks over and sees the Hound. They're just like,
yeah, the badass scenes, the horror scene. She, like you said, she killed everything that she did this episode.
Oh yeah. So our queen, we give you the crown, Maisie Williams, Arya Stark. Congratulations. Please come
Congratulations, Maisie. Mm-hmm.
Please come on the
show. Woo! Yes, ma'am. You deserve it.
All right, guys. I believe we've been going for about 2 hours. This is one of our longest episodes. We had so much to talk about.
Yeah, and we have like just one little other treat for everybody out there. Just one other little treat. I mean, people should expect this to be the longer of the episodes. We even had the longest episode of Game of Thrones to date, so I think people could expect it. But we did promise the people a treat at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, that's right.
I
forgot about it.
When we were talking about battles and how we thought about this battle in accordance to our other battles, and we will do this very quick, people. So we won't like go very long into this. But Hunter, do you have the chat up real quick?
Yes. No one's in the chat right now, though.
Okay. Just cool. Just making sure. Just seeing if anybody had any rankings for like their favorite battles. Like,
let us know in the comments as we talk about this.
Yeah, you please let us know in the comments, either here or if you're watching on replay. Please put it in the comments on our Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram and stuff. So, Hunter, out of all the 5 battles major battles that have happened on the show, which we said were going to be the Battle of Blackwater, The Wall, Hardhome,
Winterfell, and Battle of the Bastards.
How do you rank them?
All right, so let's do it like this. Let's do the first two. So 5-4. Okay. Then you give your 5-4. I'll give my 3 and 2, and then we both give our 1s.
Okay, that's cool.
All right, so I'll start with number 5. And by the way, I love all these battles. We have to rank them. I'm going Hardhome for number 5.
Okay.
And it's mostly because this was a great battle scene, but the rest of them had more impact emotional wise. And that's why I'm going Hardhome at 5. Is like I wanted just a bit more character development going into it, and it would have been pretty damn high on my list.
Okay.
Number 4, which is so hard because I love this battle so much. I'm going The Wall, the battle. Okay. And again, it had the story, it had the great battles. I just feel like it was kind of pushed into, like, it wasn't the main focus.
I can agree with that.
Most of these battles are the focus point. This one felt like it was kind of bridging 2 separate stories, and it kind of got lost for me. But the battle itself is amazing. The Wildlings taking on Jon and the Night's Watch. So many great scenes. You have why am I forgetting her name?
Ygritte.
Yeah, her death at the end at the hands of Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
Her final lines being "You know nothing, Jon Snow," which very appropriate. So yeah, my number 4 is The Wall. Z.
Very good point about The Wall. But my number 5, and I'll get to my number 4 again. But my number 5 battle for me would be the Battle of Blackwater. Again, all these battles are great, but Battle of Blackwater to me was at this time. Like I'll tell you now. Well, it was season 2, right? I didn't really care for Stannis, and I didn't really know Davos at this point. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had no emotional connection to anybody on Stannis' fleet. So I felt like it it was kind of a one-trick pony. Like once we saw the wildfire and blow up all the ships, that was the best part of the battle to me. Even though, again, whenever Tyrion kind of got his shining moment in this episode, also by seeing Joffrey, and when Joffrey and Clegane the Hound like kind of cowered out of this battle, it was up to Tyrion to basically save the city. And yes, that was a great moment. I'm glad that Tyrion was able to do that, but unfortunately, not even Tyrion got his props for that. He wakes up in the next episode with a scar on his face, like in not the dungeons, but in a pretty shitty place. So, yes, his father and the Rose and the Knights of the Flowers came in to save everybody, but it was a great moment for Tyrion with a way underwhelming result for me. Number 4 for me, it's the same as you, man. The Wall. And there were great moments on this episode. Like, and great emotional moments. We lost Pip, which was, but then how Grin and the other brothers of the Night's Watch was able to hold off that giant down in tunnels and stuff. That was an epic moment in this episode. How Jon basically took command of the Night's Watch and the whole moment when they were up at the top of the wall. Great moment. And this was kind of Jon's coming out party. However, I completely agree with you. While this was the center for this episode, I feel like this should have been maybe in a different season, because this whole season to me, we had moments where, yes, we had little moments with Daenerys wanting to free the slave cities and stuff like that. But I feel like this season in general was more about Tyrion and King's Landing, Joffrey's death. We had just came out of the episode where we saw the mountain squish somebody's head like a fucking grape. And The Wall was a great episode, but like I feel like this was more the political season out of all of them. And then we had a battle episode, which again was great, but not my favorite battle of all time. So number 3.
Actually, we do have someone in the chat who left a question.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's from Jay Wall. It says, "Is this something you can get caught up on if you've never seen it?"
Oh, I definitely say yeah. As a matter of fact, I say don't do it now. Wait until a couple weeks, whenever the Game of Thrones is over. Avoid spoilers like the plague, good sir. And I mean, I appreciate you watching this, but cover your ears whenever we're saying this. But well, actually, if you're a person that doesn't care too much about spoilers, you'll be all right. But this is definitely
you don't really know who these characters are yet.
That's true. So,
I used to watch Jeremy John's spoiler reviews because I was like, I'm never going to watch this. Boy, was I wrong, but
I agree with you on that. And there was before I even watched the episode of Game of Thrones, it was already in the season 4, and only reason why I got into it was because I was playing the Telltale version of the Game of Thrones, and it kind of picked up at the Red Wedding. And I won't go into what the Red Wedding is, just so I want you to watch it. But I didn't know what it was. And
very shocked.
Yeah, and I went into it and I watched it. I'm like, oh damn! So my first episode of Game of Thrones I've ever watched was literally the Red Wedding. So The Reigns of Castamere. That was my first episode I ever watched. Like, I need to watch this series. And so I went back to season 1, episode 1.
That was the episode that kind of divided fans. It was like, maybe I want to come off. And you were just like, I need more.
That's what I'm like, oh no, this is amazing. Like, what's going on here? I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, did they just do that? And you know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, they did not just do that.
Yeah.
I need to watch this whole series. So, and ever since episode 1, season 1, I thought this whole series was great. So I definitely say give this a try. Jay Wall. You will definitely enjoy it, I think. A lot of people claim Breaking Bad and The Wire as the greatest series of all time. You know what? To each their own. But Game of Thrones is easily going up. If it's not my favorite, it's definitely in the top 3, top 2. So yeah.
I think Game of Thrones is my favorite show of all time.
It might be for me too. Yeah. It depends on how it wraps up. I'll say that only because I watched How I Met Your Mother, and How I Met Your Mother screwed the hell out of me. So we'll see.
All right. So yes, thank you for asking that question. Yes, it's definitely a show that I would probably wait till season 8's over. I wouldn't watch any spoilers. And then just go back and binge all 8 seasons. it's something that it took me because I started right as season 7 was just coming out. So I
Mhm.
had been 6 seasons. So I did it in I want to say 2 months of just
Yeah.
constantly watching episodes, which isn't bad. 2 months to watch easily 60 episodes.
Yeah, and you know what and I think by the end of this, we're only gonna have this was episode 70, so there's gonna be episode 73. I think that we end on. You can easily watch one episode a week and be done in a year and a couple weeks. So it
Yeah,
won't take you 73 weeks.
you won't be able to watch one episode a week.
Exactly, you won't be able to because there'll be that point where you say, "Okay, I need to see what happens next."
Those cliffhangers happen every episode.
Yeah,
So it's literally like a drug. That first hit, you're just like, I need more. I need more.
that's very true.
All right, so back to the actual list. My number 3 is actually the Battle of Blackwater Bay.
Okay.
And it's in my top 3 because after rewatching it, I think it's better on a rewatch. Have you watched it before?
Oh yeah, I've watched it many times. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was much better on second watch. After watching the previous 7 seasons and going back and rewatching it again today, is the subtle nuances of this battle in particular. Because not only did you have Joffrey or Tyrion wanting Joffrey to become the king that he knows he can be by and as he says in this episode, if they see the king battling next to him, it's going to make your men fight harder to protect you. And then of course Joffrey leaves. His mother calls him, and you just see the disappointment in Tyrion's face because he's like, "I had faith that you would do the right thing now." And this is kind of where you see a little bit of growth in Joffrey because he wants to stay, but he's also afraid. And that's kind of what I like about this episode is Joffrey's still a kid. You have to realize, yes, he's a king, but he's also a kid. He's going to be scared of war. But I think what's really cool about this episode is not only was the whole battle incredible, it took up 40 minutes at the very end. It's just because it starts with the wildfire in the bay, and which was a great looking scene, green fire everywhere, and then as they come on, you get the sword fighting, and then it starts building on itself, and then Tyrion giving that amazing speech about there's people out here who no, he goes, don't fight for your king, don't fight for riches because he's not going to give it to you, but fight because this is your home. Those invaders are going to rape your
women.
They're going to burn down your houses, and we're not going to stand for it. And he ends with a great line where it's like, there are men at our door. Let's go kill
them. That was him. He's like, there's brave men knocking at our door. Let's go kill them. Again, Tyrion was great in this episode. I do agree with you that.
And then there was just so much that happened in this episode that really had a longing effect for the next 2 seasons. Because Stannis half his army is gone.
That's true.
So in the next season, he has to deal with that. And then Tyrion has to deal with Joffrey. And I'm not going to say what happens to Joffrey because I know J-Wall might still be watching, but he has to deal with Joffrey and the decisions he makes in this battle as well. My number 2 is the one tonight, Winterfell.
Okay.
And reason it's at number 2 and not number 1 is it's a great battle that lasts the entire episode. And there's nothing wrong with it. I like my number 1 a bit better. Which we went through all of it. I think you guys know what my number 1 is. But Winterfell felt like it had a lot of buildup and paid off to a lot of it. As we said in this episode, it had horror, thriller, action, comedy at points, just everything. A great movie, because this is movie length. This is like almost movie length. So a great movie scene. And I'm glad that they really made this the entire episode, this battle, because it needed to be. Had a great ending, had a fantastic scenes. But I'll get to my number one in a minute. Zeke, give us your 3 and 2.
Well, again, I told you before we start streaming. Like my top 3 are very interchangeable with each other, and this could easily be my number 1 or definitely my number 2 if not for last night. I don't get me wrong, people. I love the Battle of the Bastards. I do. It's just my number 3. I just like my other 2 a little bit more than this, and mainly because of certain feeling of this. And the Battle of the Bastards was a great episode. The scene where, and I won't talk too much about because I'll agree with everything that you're about to say, but John and the I think it was a one long shot of the camera when all the horses in one single shot where everybody is like I always remember where everybody's like dying around him, where he literally picks up he talks to some guy like, "Hey, go light the fires," and you see an arrow getting that guy's. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then a major scene in this episode to me was when John picks up a shield. I think he puts it around him, and you see all these arrows come around him, and like, shit! This whole episode is great. It's amazing. My only knots on it, and again, I knew it was gonna have. It was predictable to me in a way, and again, not a major knock on it. It was just predictable that I knew the Eagles were gonna come in pretty much. Damn Lord of the Rings. I knew that it was gonna pretty much be the Knights of the Bell.
Eagles.
That I knew it was gonna be the Knights of the Bell that would save them, and I was fine with it, and I'm glad it happened. And again, how it led up to John going after Ramsay and stuff. It's just my number 3 in this moment. And my number 2 battle, I'm really thinking about this being number 1. I'm not sure. I'm kind of, because you know what, I think you know what, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to switch around. And my number 2 battle of all time would be. I'm sorry for the dramatic pause, people. It's going to be on my sheet. I will say, and you know what? I'm gonna have to switch it. I'm gonna say, shit. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say the Battle of Winterfell for my number 2 battle. And again, you heard us talk about this episode. This whole battle was great. The dread, the immersion of you feeling like just like being in this episode, the scene with Arya in the library. Every part of this episode just had you like close up to your TV as can possibly be, quiet. You feel like you were part of the battle, but just not fighting. You felt that you were watching everything on the edge of your seat. And this was almost a near perfect battle. It made you feel tense. It was intense all the way and just scary. And even had the greatest payoff at the end with Arya killing the Night King. And it was just perfect. Like everything happened as it should have been. It's just that my number 1 has been my number 1 episode where ever since I've started watching the show. And as great as last night's episode was, again, this battle just, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, it just brought something different to me. But you're number 1, sir.
Well, of course, my number 1 is the Battle of the Bastards. I'm gonna try to get the season episode. It's season 6, episode 9.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the reason why is I was racking my brain between Battle of the Bastards and Winterfell all day today, and it comes down to this: Battle of the Bastards feels like, well, one, it feels like an actual battle. It's set on a battlefield. It feels epic in scope. but also as it feels epic in scope, it feels one-on-one. It feels like it's Jon Snow defending his family against the tyrant of Ramsay Bolton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. And right when Jon's brother gets killed for not zagging, like,
That's his fault.
yeah, it's his fault. But when that happens, and again, we talked about before, Jon's logic goes out the window. That happens to everybody. That's a human moment right there. He charges into battle. Everybody, the battle starts. The cinematography is incredible. You see every moment. And that's kind of, going back to Winterfell, that's kind of an issue I had. Not the darkness, because I loved it. There was a bit too much shaky cam for me.
I do agree with that. Yeah, I do. It was like the camera work was like,
Yeah. But this one felt like it was one continuous shot. You could see every moment that's happening, every bloody moment. You could see, like, just the war happening. The scope was incredible. And I liked this. I love this episode. It's really between these two as to what's my favorite episode of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm slightly edging towards Battle of Bastards being my favorite of the whole season or the series, because as this was happening, it never lost that feeling of personal touch that a lot of battles can have. Like, this felt like the most personal battle between two people who, for this entire season, have been wanting to get their hands on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramsay being the fucking dick for 2 seasons, to see Sansa,
yeah,
be the one to look him right in the eyes, lock him in the cell with his hungry dogs, and just sit there for a moment and watching as he dies and gets his face ripped off, and you just see the smirk on Sansa's face. She's finally free. So this episode wasn't just this battle wasn't just personal for Jon, and Jon got the satisfaction, but it was more Sansa's redemption.
that's true. Mm-hmm.
That's why I put Battle of Bastards over. It felt more personal. While Winterfell felt more bigger and bigger stakes, Battle of Bastards felt contained, small army, and personal. That's why it's my number one.
I completely agree with you on that standpoint because, like you said, personal versus the stakes were bigger in Winterfell. I think but there were so many characters that you wanted to follow around in the Battle of Winterfell to see how they were doing.
Yeah, they'll kind of jump on it points.
Exactly. With the Battle of the Bastards, it was pretty much Jon versus Ramsay's forces, or Jon and his people versus Ramsay's forces. Especially in the part wherever they got engulfed, where they got trapped, pretty much, and Ramsay's forces was marching in on them. Even this part with Jon, I thought that Jon was about to die again when he was about to get smothered by all the wildlies and stuff. Like again, that was a great episode. And again, it made me. My top 3 have been always kind of with these 3 battles have been just in kind of tip top, like just been jumbled a little bit today. However, my number one battle, and you've said it already, but there's never been a moment. And this is actually my favorite episode because even we start this episode. It's hard home, but like the episode is we start in this episode with a cool meeting between Dany and Tyrion up in Meereen, where they first get to know each other, where they first got to know each other. But it's not that part that's the amazing part. It's whenever we get to her home, we got a false sense of security because we know Jon was going to enemy territory already, and he had to convince these wildling people that he was going to allow them to come up beyond the wall so they can be safe from the pending doom and from the wildlings. And he had to go talk to everybody in a war council meeting. Like, listen, guys, you can trust me. You can trust Tormund. We will allow you to keep land beyond the south. Like, trust us. And just as I think one of the wildlings were pretty much agreed to it, there has never been such a a sense of impending doom to me. I've never been more scared than I was when things got quiet in that episode. When you saw beyond, whenever they were walking out, you saw a cloud of mist in the distance coming below and white and just engulfing some of the wilding crowds on the other side of the gate, and it
Mm.
was so silent, and the mist was just creeping and creeping, and then you saw people start running. So the wildlings on the other side of the gate closed it, and you heard people like pounding against it. Open the door, and then dead silence. This was such a horror. We talked about Battle of Winterfell having such horror moments. This was the ultimate scare of the series to me. Like, because I'm like, what the hell is about to happen here? And they peek through the hole, and it's a whole army of whites. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, all those people are dead now. And just from this point on, like this whole battle was nonstop. It you saw the whites starting to conjure the walls, or trying to go to break down the gates, and even you saw the whites come over the cliff and stuff. But there was the main epic moment of this to me was when one of the White Walker generals comes into the hut when Jon is trying to get the dragon glass, and this is where we witness the power of Valyrian steel, because
Yep.
Jon is about to get his ass killed, and if just as the White Walker swings his spear towards Jon, Jon picks up his sword and he blocks it, Longclaw, and the sword doesn't shatter. And that's when we find out it's Valyrian. Like, we don't know why, but Jon deflate. He sends the sword back around. He basically kills the White Walker. He
With
kills
a
the White
with a
with his
such a
sword.
smooth kill too. He was like,
It was so smooth, and like he just killed him. And you saw, and Jon killed him, and you could see Jon being like just was out of breath and stuff. But it was in this moment also when he looked up to the sky,
that's
and
all
he
I know.
saw the Night King staring down at him. It's just that this was the first moment where they looked at each other. It's like he realized, who the hell is this guy that's doing this to me and doing this to my forces? So he sends another horde down towards him, and people. This was just a. This was one of the most fearsome moments of this whole series to me, and we end the episode basically. But it was like abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Well, yes, they did save a bunch of White Walkers. I mean, they saved a bunch of the wildlings, but when Jon and his crew escapes and leaving everybody else dead, we see the Night King with the most ultimate boss move. And again, he had a more ultimate boss move in last night's episode, but when he raised up his hands and showed his power, this was the moment where we realized, oh, everybody down south is fucked. Like, yeah, like just give up now. There's no way you're gonna defeat this. So,
Yeah.
I love Hardhome, man. Again, I was battling between this and Battle of Winterfell. To me, it's just this. This was the moment where I felt the same fear that I felt in last night's episode. This is why I felt that fear, because I saw it from in this episode. So,
And see,
just
okay.
no, I'm just saying it's just amazing. Again, all five were amazing battles to me, and it's just it hit me on an emotional level. I even still even though I know what's going to happen when I rewatch this episode, yeah, still
Yeah.
freaks me out.
And see, that's what's cool about all these battles is we can have different ones and still see why we put it each other at number one. Mine was more because I like the personal element. Yours is more because you like the big battle of it, the big, oh my God, Doom is coming, Doom is here, the White Walkers are here. And this is kind of the first taste we see of what the White Walkers can do, what kills them. And I love those battles too. Like, if it wasn't for Bastards, I probably would have given it to either Hardhome or Blackwater Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I also love the big spectacle of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Battle of the Bastards had the spectacle with the personal.
Yeah, and there's no wrong way to rank this list at all. No, like whatsoever.
And just because I had Hardhome at number 5 doesn't mean it's not a fantastic battle.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said all these are great battles.
Yeah, I feel like rating these five movies. I mean, five battles is like rating the top five MCU movies to me. Like, I can do it, but just because this is my number one, it does not mean just because this is an A plus plus does not mean this is a B. This is
Yeah.
an A. This is an A or A plus, but just yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so my list is 5 Hardhome, 4 The Wall, 3 Blackwater Bay, 2 Winterfell, and 1 Battle of the Bastards. Z, what is yours?
Mine was 5 Blackwater, 4 The Wall, 3 Battle of the Bastards, 2 Battle of Winterfell, and 1 Her Home. J Wall, go watch everything. Like you'll catch all of this. And yes, you don't technically know when these battles happen. Technically, you might have heard it, but just go into it. Like, just forget all about this and just go watch the episodes. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So we've been going for about 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
So let's hit with the closing plugs. Z, where people find you?
Don't have my handy dandy whiteboard with me, but you can find me right here on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Zadius Smith. That's ZA2Ds EUS Smith. Or you can find me on Twitter at D underscore ZADD, or on Instagram at Zadius. And trust me, hit me a message, shoot me a message, give me a comment on Facebook or Twitter. I will respond to you about this, about anything. You can find me also on the Stardust app doing movie and TV reviews. I'm keeping the Game of Thrones reviews to here, but I just saw Endgame a couple days ago. You can check out my review on Endgame on the Stardust app at Retribution Z. Retribution Z. That's my Stardust app. You can again find me right here every Monday night on Beyond the Thrones. My boy Hunter, the Hitman Chambliss. And then also catch me and my boy Nico Suave Regoli, House Knight Fury, doing our Crisis on Earth Planets show, which we talked about everything going on in the Arrowverse that in MCU TV this week. And this week we're planning on spending either this week or next week. We're gonna have a special episode where we're gonna have a spoiler talk about Avengers
Endgame.
I will let them know about that. And again, we want to give everybody at least enough time to go see the movie. Yep. So
definitely go see it.
And yeah, 100% go say. I would say go see it, but if you really want to know how I feel about it, go check out my review on the Stardust app at Retribution Z. But you can find me on Facebook all the time doing trivia also in the Multiplex community. Joe, anything. Combat Wrestling Trivia. I have a match up there right now. It's me versus the arsonist, Jay Burns. Go check that out, awesome people.
It's such a fun match.
Hashtag Summer Series.
Hashtag Summer Series. And if you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe to Film Nerd TV. Check out Combat Wrestling Network, where we host Combat Wrestling Trivia. And I just want to say this. What a weekend of nerd culture we have had. Saturday night, I saw Endgame. Sunday night, I had Game of Thrones, Battle of Winterfell. Oh my God, I need sleep. I'm high on energy right now. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. And remember, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. Peace.